And welcome.
Sorry.
We have had it with you today.
Just every time he talks, do that.
Surprised you don't have any.
These are the
merch.
bloopers. We need a blooper reel at the end of the year. And welcome back to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. Today we're going back to our throwback picks, and today is Katie's pick.
Yay! I picked a Goofy movie.
One of the best Disney movies ever.
Yes.
And Disney, don't touch it.
This is probably the pinnacle of cinema.
I'm not gonna lie, Disney took a lot of liberty on this one. Like, I don't know the history of the production behind it, but the themes that are incorporated in a Goofy movie are like
they're really
kind of high.
Like, watching it
felt
now,
real.
like from like watching it at 5 years old when it came out.
I was gonna say it feels different.
It feels very different watching it as a 32-year-old woman and like really hearing the lessons that were coming out of it. I was like, wow, this is really poignant and my.
It's a very grown up.
It is a very grown up.
And like
movie.
Disney has always strived years, like, you know, to make like, you know, at least when parents take their kids to the movies to go see like one of their films, to like incorporate like, you know, at least adult humor so adults can always enjoy it. But this one felt geared more towards like, you know, actual like adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You know, speaking of themes, the major theme I picked up on was communication.
yes.
Because if Max had simply told his father, hey, I like this girl, I finally got a date with her, can we go on vacation next week?
Yeah.
Goofy probably would have said, of course.
Yeah. But of course, Max is a
teenager.
Yeah, exactly. An awkward teenager and
Trying
just
to be cool.
But
I also-
embarrassed by Goofy and just doesn't want to deal with
But
him.
I also thought that one of Goofy's, like, the reason why he was so motivated was fear because the principal, which that whole scene kind of like, I don't get it.
Evil.
Where it's like he's basically telling Goofy, like, your son is one step short of landing in a jail cell. So
He was upset. His toupee got messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was...
Well, I mean, the whole,
He's a principal
the whole
trying to
thing
hold his
is
life
like
together.
Max acted out. The principal was like, I'm gonna discipline this kid. This kid needs discipline. Goofy is not a good parent, and without really telling Goofy what Max had done, blew it up and freaked Goofy out. Like,
yeah, so that's why I kind of think Goofy was really pushing for, like, the vacation
But
now.
Goofy could have communicated with Max also. In that very moment, right when Max gets home, say, hey, your principal gave me a call and said that you were being inappropriate at school. Let's sit and talk about this. And then Max tells him about Roxanne. Boom, they're done. No one has to go on a road trip. No one has to go to that freaky possum place.
Yo, the possum place!
And everybody is saved.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have much of a movie.
True, it would not be a very long
And if
movie.
Goofy had done that, then he wouldn't have been Goofy.
That's true. It would have been more serious.
Yeah.
So speaking about Goofy, this is kind of like the first time we've seen a character change in Disney's formula when it comes to any of the main cast. Like you have like Mickey and Minnie, Donald, and
Are you
Daisy.
saying Goofy is not a main cast
No.
member?
Goofy is a main cast member, but as far as like the cartoons have presented, like you have like the old cartoons, and even Mickey and Minnie and all of them have had like, you know, the little like, you know, the Christmas ones and, you know, House of Mouse and other things like that. Goofy has always been portrayed as just like, you know, kind of a goofy character. That's his name. He's a goofy character. He's kind of slow. He's kind of like...
He's an idiot.
He's dumb. It's
Well,
what he is.
I love his how-to cartoons.
His how-tos are great.
Shorts are great.
So they're like the Mr. Magoo for kids
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, but like in this one, we see Goofy, like, you know, he is still his goofy self, but you add a kid into the mix. Well, first off, this is kind of the first Disney character that we know of that had like spawn.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
He has a kid. He was married.
Yeah.
Who the wife was.
Wait. Do we know he was married?
No.
Yes, I thought we did. I thought the wife died.
No,
What?
we have no idea what happened to
I never heard that.
Anyways, he had a kid.
You
So we're
made
not-
assumptions, Amanda. You made
Call him
assumptions.
Spawn?
Spawn.
He procreated.
He procreated.
Emily, what were you gonna say?
Oh well, just because we're talking, this movie it follows the show Goof Troop,
Yes.
which all these characters are already
It came
established
after,
in.
didn't it? Or
It
what?
did.
Yeah.
It did. And actually, one of the criticism I read about this movie was that it wasn't like the show Goof Troop because Max is older and some of the characters are left out. But I also read the inspiration for this movie. There was a executive who was having trouble connecting with his teenage daughter, and he took her on a road trip.
Oh,
And that's
interesting.
how he pushed for this movie. And then
Sometimes
he
road trips
had a
work.
falling out with the head of Disney, which is part of why this movie had a really poor release.
Disney seems to do that with a
Emily
lot of its
coming in with
films.
the facts.
Yo.
I love it.
I like
Disney has always had this really weird history when it comes to their flops. Like, I know, like, with my favorite, like, Treasure Planet,
Yeah.
the people who directed Treasure Planet were screwed out of, you know, like, all the publishings. Like, they literally put out a trailer that showed, like, the entire movie.
I remember
To
that.
try,
too.
they were like basically like whatever. They wanted these two guys to literally keep directing movies, and all they wanted was to do Treasure Planet. And
Which
they
is
like
a very underrated movie.
I love
it's
that
incredibly
movie.
underrated
Yeah.
because Disney made it underrated. Like
Yeah.
nobody talked about it. It's the same thing with the Black Cauldron. The Black Cauldron, they bought the rights to it because they were trying to pick up like, you know, titles after Walt Disney's death. And they had already kind of expended all of their titles that Walt Disney had like, you know, planned out. And they were like looking for the next big thing, and it was supposed to be a live action, but they made it animated. They cut costs, and
I love that one too, though. That's one of the ones I grew up
the
watching.
underrated Disney princess, Princess Alonwe.
That's
So-
one of the Disney movies I never actually
Yo, I
got
hated
into.
that kid in the movie.
But you know, like after watching it,
So
because
whiny.
I tried watching Treasure Planet and couldn't get past it, but that's when I want to try to give another
Gotta
chance.
get to the Johnny Resnick song.
But but with the Black Cauldron, I can kind of understand why it also may not have done well aside from Disney's machinations to destroy it. Because when you watch it, it doesn't read like a Disney movie.
Right.
They were
It's-
trying to go for
it's
the dark
very
and edgy
dark.
feel.
Yeah.
Like
at the
it's a
time.
very dark film. It kind of has none of the joy you associate with Disney, and then the songs were kind of
There were no songs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there were no
There
songs.
were no
Yeah.
songs.
That's why I was like, okay.
So they were
musical.
awful. Those songs.
Yeah,
They
so
didn't exist.
yeah, but and I couldn't really stand the princess. Like, who was the character I actually liked?
The pig
Gurgi.
boy.
Gertie.
The
Gertie.
pig boy.
Gertie
Actually,
I remember. I
sacrificed
really don't
himself.
remember.
Actually,
princess
the
in that
pig. The pig is the one I feel
Princess
the most
Alonwe was
sorry
supposed
for.
to be like she was like captured by the Lich King, and like he finds her in the dungeon, and she's just up here like, I'm gonna escape, and you're coming with me, and she makes friends with everybody, and he kind of has a crush on her, and that's about it.
Yeah, I
she
mean,
was supposed to be like she was kind of a
no
strong
problem with
character, but at the same time, the main guy was just really annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
think
whiny.
too,
I don't
you
wanna
also
do
have
this.
to look at when the movie was made as well. It was made, what, in the mid to late 70s, that movie?
I believe.
You gonna look it up for me, Amanda?
Yeah, the pig was the only character I liked.
1985.
Oh, 1985. See, I was completely and totally off.
They were
So-
trying to get into the fantasy.
So
they were
like
trying
the Black
really
Crystal
hard.
was made at that time.
Dark Crystal,
The Dark
yeah.
Crystal. So yeah, I can understand where they were coming from as well.
Yeah, it's a very almost adult cartoon.
Yeah, the Horn King was like super
Yeah.
creepy. Japan had the only ride for it.
Really?
Yes. The Tokyo Disney ended up getting the ride for the Black Cauldron.
Wow.
The US did not because it did not do well here.
Mm.
Missed out on seeing the Horned King and like
Oh no.
creepy man. Anyways, back to a Goofy movie. So I was right, Goofy was married.
He was okay.
In the original cartoons, he did have a wife, which would later coincide with Goofy movie, but we never met her. Her name was Mrs. Goof, and Max was called Goof Jr. initially.
So what happened to her?
We don't know. She was just never shown. It said
But
that
it
he
says
was
the
married.
bizarre tragic. Amanda, you gotta. click
I
and
looked at it, but they're
expand.
saying they literally don't know what happened to her. I think that's just kind of
'Cause now I'm intrigued.
her name was Mrs. Goof. That's all we knew. Yeah. Go on with your story while I figure out the mystery of Mrs. Goof.
Well, I mean, what also is really good about the movie is the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is amazing.
Yes.
It's exceptional.
Yes.
It might be the best soundtrack in Disney history.
I-
Well, I
Not might be. I shouldn't say that. It is. Sorry. Best soundtrack.
The end song is great.
The end song's great. The Stand Out song,
Yeah.
what that Max performs at the high school, which I have no idea what kind of technological setup they have there.
He had an in with the like
The AV guy.
the AV
I understand
and
that, but
theater club.
what they were doing and why he needed a
Spider-Man
blowtorch
Jr.
is beyond me.
It was a fire extinguisher that made the smoke.
First off, how did he get
but
his hands
had
on
a
those?
blowtorch in the back of the theater. He was like blowtorching something together.
That's right. He was. It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Right,
They've got
but,
dangerous items
I mean,
everywhere.
and then he's looking out the thing, and it's a curtain, but all of a sudden, then it's a glass screen that he just falls through.
I think it was the
I had some
projector.
questions.
I think
I
it
had
was
some
just the
questions about
projector
that.
he was dancing behind.
I had some questions about that setup. But that song's great.
Yeah.
The song where he's going to school is probably the best song.
After today.
That's a great one. And it's funny. I was trying to think about who everyone in this room would be in like out of those, like who were you guys in high school?
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't know.
Let's see how close you get.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Come on, you can't open that can of
I
worms.
think I identified most with the bus driver. I think
I'm gonna sit on my butt.
Exactly. I think I identified with him the most. I don't know, like who were you guys in high school? Like were you guys
I wasn't anybody in high school. I just wanted to get out of high school.
So were you guys I maybe Amanda and Katie are the kids that look at the comic books? Maybe you guys are
I was kind of like, I was known in the school. I wasn't part of the popular.
known.
I was known. I said, like, it's not like nobody didn't know me. Like, I knew, like, the popular kids, and I knew, but I hung out with, like, the weird kid, like, the emo kids the most.
Oh, so
but
you would have been the girls on the bus that were like the pep rally.
Oh, we hated
No more
the
pep
only reason we
rallies in
liked
class.
pep rallies is to get out of class.
Yeah.
But other than
You
that,
guys
I
have pep rallies
hated.
during school?
Yeah, it's at the end of school.
Does anyone like pep rallies though?
No.
We were forced to go to them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, we're
I was
forced to go.
forced
We
to
had
go
to
to
get out of
that.
our seat and go to the thing, and we get to the very top bleachers, so we didn't have to deal with anybody.
I'm starting to go on
They
this.
didn't force us to go to pep
Oh.
rally.
They
Yeah.
forced me to go to pep
We
rallies.
were forced.
We were forced to
I
go
was
to pep
forced.
rallies.
They're like,
Oh.
all right, guys, you
It
guys
was
are
like in the
seniors, get over
beginning of
here.
school.
No,
Mine was in the beginning of school.
So
I hated the cheerleaders.
there's like a little
Yeah.
pep rally tangent. My school did this thing where when I was a freshman, we had 4 year. Freshmen went to the first one, sophomores went to the second one, blah, 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 blah.
They did it 4 times. Jesus Lord
Yes.
Christ. We all had
Oh,
just
wait, no,
one.
actually, when I started, freshmen had to go to all the pep rallies. The freshman class was required to go to all the pep rallies. The year that I became a sophomore, they decided actually each year has to go to one pep rally. So the freshmen would go to the first, the sophomores would go to the second. I was like, I already did 4. I don't need to go to any of these. So I cut school every time that we had a pep rally.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So there would be your freshman year. There were 4 pep rallies in a day.
No, it's like for the fall sports, for the winter sports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You guys,
I
you
would
guys
go.
were very inclusive of all your sports.
I went to the one that had the hockey team because I had a friend on the hockey team.
Okay.
I thought
But
you said
I
you were
would
gonna
usually-
get a crush
That's
on the
not
hockey
hockey.
team. I was like, oh. No,
I mean,
okay.
who
The entire
wouldn't?
hockey team.
Who wouldn't? We didn't have a hockey team. We were in North Carolina.
My high school had a hockey team. We only had one pep rally though, and it was
Same.
at the beginning of the year. We had to go.
We didn't.
Cheerleaders we had, and we didn't even also like we had the sports team, but we also included like clubs too. So there was also like the step club, and then the baton twirling club, and
Dance.
Wow, you were
Yeah.
very inclusive.
Baton twirling.
I still have a DVD of my pep
I
rally.
kid you not. I kid you
I
not.
have a legitimate DVD from from 2 of my pep rallies. They
was
made
bored to
DVDs for the
tears.
yearbook.
Let's bring that in.
Yo, it's one of my favorite things because you see the cheerleaders.
Give it to Joe. He'll splice it in.
The cheerleaders, the reason I didn't like going is because every time we were all kind of like cringed at like the cheerleaders, it's changed now of like what cheerleading is.
Yeah.
What happened in the 2000s, and then because they were like
What happened in the 2000s?
popping, locking, doing all these like dance, and you're just like, oh my god.
Cheerleaders
like, oh
were
my-
popping and locking?
Oh my god, they were like pre-twerking, pre-era twerking.
Yeah.
It was just,
No,
oh my god.
I was.
We were just like, oh my
I was
god.
out of my mind, and all I did was talk to my friends.
Yeah, it was just
who did
hang
not
out.
care.
Ours were all dedicated to like basketball team too. We were big on football and basketball, but yeah, no,
When
I
the
hated
football
pep rallies.
team walked out, you would think that, gods had descended to earth when the football team walked into the gym.
And
I
they
knew
were
some of
probably,
those guys.
were they trash? Or was your
Actually-
football team good?
Actually, the football team in my senior year was really, really good. We made it all the way to whatever the finals are for high school football.
My school was
Cool.
known for
Yeah.
a football team. Our basketball team was really good too, especially women's basketball.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We had a guy on our football team that thought he was like the coolest thing, like the best
Oh.
thing since sliced bread.
Oh no!
And then he
Since
went out
sliced bread.
like that the next game or whatever, and he fumbled 4 times. And it was the funniest thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Jesus. Pep rallies.
Question
Yeah.
about your hockey pep rally though.
Yeah.
Were they wearing skates?
No,
Were you at a
no,
rink?
it's at a it's in a basketball court.
Oh. Of
They
course,
just
it's always
wore
a
their
basketball court.
jerseys and
Okay.
ran out. And
It's the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Oh.
and
So it's
I-
not like they're not like you guys went to a rink.
no, the rink was nowhere
would
near the school.
Oh.
They had to go somewhere in Brooklyn
Yeah,
for
I-
their
Oh,
games.
wow.
Jesus
I never went to pep
Christ.
rallies, but I never went to assemblies unless I really had to. I was very, I didn't want to be with crowds, and then stuff always happened in my school.
I don't
was
remember
very,
assemblies in high school.
I remember
Yeah.
someone always gets kicked out.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm not even in we had I didn't even want to get my yearbook. I legit I want to graduate and forget these 4 years ever happened.
Did you
I have
have
three
to?
of my
I don't know about you guys. You guys, I mean, maybe Emily, but did you guys have to do the? Did you have to do the thing where they gave you where it was if Indian Point blows up, and they
Oh,
give you
what?
you have to go into the gym. They give you a pill, but it's really a starburst. And then they were this is practicing for it, and we're just if
No.
Indian Point
What are
blows
you
up, we're dying.
practicing? Cyanide
apparently-
capsules?
No, they were gonna give you some kind of pill.
It was
To,
the iodine.
Iodine
Yeah.
pills.
You
It
see,
protects
no,
your thyroid.
no.
Jesus Christ.
In my school, there were more immediate
horrifying.
concerns than nuclear power plants blowing up. We had more immediate concerns.
oh well,
So
I
that
mean,
never
this
happened.
was,
You guys
know,
are pretty
it
close
was-
too.
Yeah, it was it was after 9/11, and they were
No.
legitimately concerned that
No,
something was gonna
they
happen.
never
We
did
just
that.
hit on your
Yeah.
desk.
No, like I said, we had more legitimate concerns. Power plants weren't there.
I'm glad I didn't go to school here then. Jesus Christ.
No, I didn't support. They never did that with us. No,
No, they didn't do that with us.
they didn't care.
Though I was going to high school in Dutchess County, so they probably didn't think that we were
That's
close
where we're
enough.
supposed to escape to.
Dutchess
I get
County.
every year,
Dutchess County.
everyone in Peekskill gets an escape route sent to their home.
Yeah, see?
And-
Well, Peekskill is
yeah.
just a town over from Indian
Yeah.
Point, so I understand that.
That's where I'm supposed to escape to.
Honestly,
You can just come to my house.
honestly, at that point, it's the city of Naples has an escape plan, because they live near the volcano. And honestly, let's be fair. Do you really think anyone's gonna get out? Maybe some will, but your best bet is just die in your home. Because if you go out, you're not
All right,
getting
Chernobyl, calm
anywhere.
down. I mean, sure, radiation poisoning doesn't, hurt.
So another thing about the Goofy movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Your guys'
Well,
schools are so
honestly,
dangerous. All I
to
did
be
was
fair,
like
that was
dudes
kind
that
that
got
was
locked
kind of
down.
Yeah.
That was it. My school locked down twice.
Yeah.
Because we were close to a bank.
we have.
And there was a
lockdowns.
guy who stole money from a bank and booked it towards our school. And that was the
Oh,
only thing we had.
did he want education after he robbed? Oh, that makes a lot of
I
sense.
wasn't even at the campus when it happened. I was driving back to the campus because we had kind of the BOCES situation where it was
Yeah.
a separate school. Half my school day would be oh, here, start my day here, go to a place called Forsyth Tech, and then go back to school. I used to drive in between. There was a mall in between. Our food options were awesome. I'm not gonna lie. You can just go to the mall, That's what we did during exam week.
Hmm.
If I didn't have an exams teacher, it was like, you have to stay in the classroom. But if they weren't there for 15 minutes, we were like,
So you
See
just
ya.
left?
yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, Mom.
So Amanda
It happened
was,
like twice.
so Amanda was known in her school. Katie just wanted to get out.
I knew everybody. It's just I wasn't in, like, you know, in with the popular kids that much. I knew of them because I was in journalism, and all the popular kids went into journalism.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I know that what they've done. I know what you've done.
What did
I
they
know
do?
you.
Lou hung out with the artists and made films.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Well, what did they do? You said I know what you did.
I know the parties. I know the TPing. I know what I know
Oh.
what you did. Every year they would like make a plan to like TP the school,
Oh.
and it happened. And then all the teachers would get so upset. I'm like, happens every year. Why are you surprised?
Such a waste of toilet
Nobody
paper.
knew my name in journalism because I went by a pen name.
If
in the
you-
newspaper?
if those students knew how expensive toilet paper is, they would not be doing
Well,
that.
they were rich, so I'm sure it didn't like no consequence.
Anyway, this can all be cut out.
Yeah,
no,
sorry,
never.
Joe.
No. Keep
And
it in.
Emily, and who were you in high school?
I also was not well known in my high school. Like I had my group of friends. We would meet at the end of the stairwell every morning, and that's that was it. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't participate in anything because like none of it seemed interesting. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We
Same,
hung out
same.
in the music room. That was about it.
I tried.
Oh, I had music friends. I learned a lot about music, but I don't really know about it. They were all very into their music stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broadway.
None of them sing anymore. None of them.
So a couple more thoughts about a Goofy movie.
Getting back on track.
Um,
High school's crazy.
One of the things I noticed this time was Max's bedroom is huge.
Yo, lucky him, right?
Yeah, right. It was
No.
huge, like legitimately. And you know, I don't know why Goofy vacuuming up the clothes. It really it.
Designer.
I was just like,
I mean,
what
He got the
vacuum is strong enough to
Balenciaga.
do that? And I've watched this movie dozens of times and never really thought about that. But for some reason, it really stuck with me for a while after that. I was like, how big is that vacuum?
I
Did my
mean-
man's just suck up cool?
Yeah.
I mean, Lou, he's goofy.
He's
and
dumb.
then anything that you've seen, he's vacuumed something up, or what he's gonna vacuum up
does his
True.
clothing.
I would
True.
also just think, well, the clothes are dirty, so yeah, never mind. Forget about that part. But that is a legitimate concern.
Yeah, right.
Teenager
It
clothes
is, yeah.
especially
Yeah.
dirty.
So, I think we have to talk about the possum place.
Possum place.
I have to tell you, you know, that scene is still the most disturbing scene in cinematic history for me.
Really?
It's horrifying. I hate every minute of it. If I could fast forward through it, I would. I mean, I could, but I don't.
You like
Um,
Mr. the Possum?
I hate it with a
You know
passion.
what was actually bothering me? Because like I think I have the nails in the wood for like that was the thing that was bothering me the most about that scene. I don't
The nails in the wood? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
But it's sticking out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like tinnitus, right? But this is also like,
Yeah, I don't know.
you know, a swamp. This is supposed to be imitating like some Bumble,
Yeah.
you know, hillbilly like a theme attraction that you'd find
On the
one
side
of
of
the
the
stupid
road.
roadside attractions,
Off
kind of
of
like
the
Gatorland
highway.
in Florida.
Yeah.
If you ever have a chance, go to Gatorland. I love that place. It is not great.
But it's real.
I have been there.
Oh, really?
They're right.
I was very young. I remember we saw a gator jump out of the water to eat a whole raw chicken.
Wow.
They're
They
still
do.
around,
They
Gatorland,
suspend
Great
whole
Place.
chickens up, and they have the gators jump up and eat them.
Wow.
Gators.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Is it cooked, the chicken?
No, it's raw.
It's like raw chicken.
It's
not
just like you
a-
bought it in a grocery store and put it on a fishing line. That's what they do.
Wow.
I don't know. After Tiger King,
Hillbilly,
Gatorland might be
yeah,
in
rednecks.
trouble.
But back to the possum scene. I was kind of struck by how relatable Max is during that entire scene. I just feel like I can remember being a kid in an audience like that and being like, how is everyone else into this? Like, what is the appeal here?
I got the exact opposite of it. It's like, and I don't know if this is because I'm an adult now and I've worked with kids growing up, but it's like all I could think of is like, Max, you're being a brat. Stop it.
That's me many times.
The way he acted, maybe, but the feeling he had about like, this is really weird and boring and not where I want to be. Totally relatable.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
The little girl sitting next to him.
Oh.
No,
Yo, she's
not
terrifying.
that is my nightmare. Like, she's terrifying.
I don't know. I feel like
She's
Yeah.
She's sitting there like, you're like, oh no.
I mean, I've had glasses at least that long. I had glasses before preschool, so I mean, I can kind of like. I mean, that.
You
See,
relate to the
legit,
little
I
girl.
relate
To the
the
little
the
girl.
nails in the wood that was really getting me, not everything else.
I think my favorite part of that scene is when Goofy's getting his picture taken.
I love it that
And
he hangs
upside
down.
and the
See,
possum's
again,
like, yeah!
that would be cringe. Like if I were a
super
teenager.
cringe if
Oh,
your
yeah.
parent
Yeah.
did it
Yeah.
in front of you,
Yeah.
and I would do that too.
Oh yeah.
But
And also having a dirty, gross possum
excuse
attack
me,
you.
Yeah.
I
and
love possums.
They're
Possums are great.
They're
disgusting.
so cute.
Possums are cute.
They're
Yes, they are.
adorable.
They are disgusting.
No, they're
No,
not.
they're not.
Would
They
you
are
want
adorable?
one?
Can't get rabies.
Would you want one on your lap?
Yes.
A wild
Okay.
one.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Would-
if it wasn't approaching aggressively, yeah, they're adorable.
You're telling me that possum that approached Max was not aggressive? It hit him in the face.
No,
If it was hanging up in the tree on the branch with Goofy and the branch broke and it flew from that into Max, then that's not the possum's fault.
All right, I'm bringing a possum in, and I'm gonna have him climb all over you guys, and
no,
we'll see how
they,
you
really
react.
not
they
gonna
are
bother me.
adorable. They are just so cute. Like I used to not really like them, but then they grew on me. Those things are adorable.
And
Oh
there's
my
different
god! If you bring one
species
in,
of opossum too.
And it's actually
Yeah.
opossum, not possum.
Ah.
We're going to
We're
have
American.
to
We say
agree
possum.
to disagree on this one.
like, have you seen the videos? Just as a side note of the baby, like it's the
Look at
sanctuary.
this
in
little
Aus-
baby.
I know it's so cute. Like,
Yeah, I agree. They're cute. I don't want them near me.
Yeah.
I do.
Thank you, Emma.
you see, like,
I don't want any wild animals near me.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
if Bambi were to come strutting in this room right now, you would reject Bambi.
Deer ticks. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Also, they're selective omnivores, so I've watched one eat a squirrel on YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I've
No,
heard
no,
stories
they're
of them
selective
catching
omnivores.
rabbits and shaking them until their neck breaks. Yes,
Yeah.
deer do things like that.
You,
It's called selective omnivores. It's only when, their
Food's
kind
sparse.
of food is sparse and they need something. It's
know,
like I
Survival
watched
of the
one
fittest.
tear a bird apart.
like honestly, I
They're
could
like-
have done without that information. I was,
They're also dangerous too,
Wait.
especially during breeding season.
but we're not talking about breeding season. We're talking about
Just throw them some
You
corn
people.
and done.
Love seeing deer outside. Don't want to be near
I
one.
would love.
Agreed.
There's a video of this woman. She's playing the harp in the middle of the woods, and the deer's in the background. It is the cutest thing.
Why does she have a
This is
harp
my
in the middle of the
emotion.
woods?
Possums describe how I feel inside.
But I think that's. I don't
like
really think.
Scream.
But anyway, so she's playing the harp, and the deer's in the back, and the deer is like listening to the music, and it's approaching her. It is so cute.
There's I probably told this story to you
And
guys
its mother
before.
rejects
Before, so if I have, you can stop me. But I think some of the deer think that our yard is safe in my house because deer have come to our yard and given birth. I haven't seen it, but yeah,
Get your
yeah.
Well,
Because we have baby fawns every year
They are
in our
so
yard.
a baby
you
deer.
do have like that nice
there's a
tree
little-
shelter
Just
around
really
your
nice
yard.
with it.
It does seem like a safe place.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
And you don't have a
cute.
dog.
Have you
That's
seen
true,
The,
I
do
have you
not
seen the
have a
baby
dog.
back burritos?
My cats will
From
just
the
stare at
Australian
me out of the window.
Fox bats. They wrap them up in little burritos.
Oh, I love
Oh,
the
that's-
bats.
Oh, I love bats. They are so
They're just
cute.
like
There's this bat in the Philippines, I swear to God, is the size of a person. Now, legit, if I happened to walk at night and I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit
They're just
terrifying.
Mothman,
little
right?
babies.
But they're just so cute. They're like someone mixed a dog and decided we're going to put bat
I think
wings
they're
on
called
you.
flying foxes because they like.
Well, fruit bats are flying foxes.
They're so cute.
They're adorable.
And they eat
lot of
little,
them are, like,
grapes
really just
and
nice.
bananas.
I think we're freaking Emily out.
No, again, these are all very cute animals. Don't want to be near one.
But anyway, about the possum thing, just bringing it back, coming full circle. The freakiest thing was the fake possum things with like the boars and the nails.
The animatronic possums.
So, also,
Were
Yeah.
fake
Making fun of their
anyway.
country band jamboree thing going on there.
when they encounter Bigfoot,
I love that entire scene.
I do too. It's a good scene. The hi dad stuff is very emotional, very nice.
I love
Next
that.
morning they're just in the diner.
Yeah.
I need to know what happened. How'd they get out of there?
I'll let you know. I know how they did it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm listening.
So eventually, Bigfoot, like, he has a family. And the night before, he was out there
has a
because he had to get food.
Is this in a deleted scene?
So can I... I'm on a roll. Can I...
Go.
Narrative story. So, like, he had to find food. So think about all the time he was legit wasting, fooling around with Goofy and Max when he could... So eventually he realized, I'm on the clock here. I gotta find food, bring it back to my wife and kids.
Can't be seen.
He couldn't stay any longer.
Or he just left.
The music
Yeah.
was too much. It's the funk.
I
So now
assumed
I'm
he
just
just
trying to-
left
Oh,
eventually.
And took the headphones with him because he liked the Bee Gees
Yeah.
so much.
Sacrifice.
I like the getting home to the kids story more. We'll go with that one.
sure.
Yeah.
That sounds
No,
good.
I think he just left.
So can we talk about the best character in this movie?
Oh,
being
please,
Bobby?
God, no, I hate that character.
Who's
I
Bobby?
went down such a rabbit hole when I found out it was Pauly Shore because
Yeah.
as a kid I was like, what's
Is
with
this
his
the
voice?
cheese person?
Yeah.
Okay, I hate this character.
The Leaning
This
Tower
is
of Cheesa.
No.
I saw this movie as a child and the other one, and I don't remember them, but I remember this character because he creeps me out.
Yeah, no.
the cheese, I hate it so much. I do not like
He's just a disgusting character.
He's somebody I knew definitely in high school who would
That
just
would
do
just chug
stupid
cheese.
things.
It's gross though. Like we were
It's like
talking
they were
about how
knowledgeable about things, but they were like just
I mean,
not there.
there were certain parts of this character that I liked, like the way, like Pauly Shore annoys the hell out of me, but like
I don't know what it was. I
when-
went down a rabbit hole of Pauly Shore. Like afterwards, like who is this man?
But like I love it when Principal Mayhair or something like that. Mazer, thank you.
Easier.
Busted them, and he's got PJ in a chokehold, and he's going, "We are so busted," you know.
I like when he goes into the principal's office and he's like, Mesa. I was like, but he actually has one of my favorite lines in the next movie.
Oh, the second one? Yeah, no, he was
in an
great.
extremely goofy movie. They're in some. First off, it's a very weird town because they're very big
college
into
town.
they're very big into the X Games, and then there's also
X Games is
this
the best.
this weird cafe thing where it's
It's a
very
poetry
artsy
cafe.
and stuff. But he's just sitting there, and he's like, just it's unsolicited, and he's just like, you ever wonder why we're just wearing gloves all the time? And then that's it. It just cuts.
That's actually...
It's always
I-
like the really like weird
Why
high
are they
characters.
wearing
that-
gloves all the time?
It's a Disney aesthetic.
I
That's all it is. Like Mickey wears the gloves, Donald wears the gloves, Goofy wears the gloves, Clarabelle, Horace, all the other except for Pluto, which is kind of a weird. Another thing, if you want to talk about it, is that Goofy's technically a dog, but Pluto's a dog. So why would Goofy have an interact? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
that's
also
a good
dogs.
question.
What's going on?
And why doesn't Donald Duck wear pants?
Because he's a duck.
But he wears
Neither
a
does
towel when
Daisy.
he gets out of the shower.
Neither does Daisy. Daisy doesn't wear pants.
So what's
either.
up with that, Disney?
Disgusting. Why is Mickey shirtless?
Good question.
Disgusting.
So is Minnie
Goofy.
Mouse.
Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse just wears a skirt. In the older
Originally, she
shorts.
wore just a skirt. That's right. She didn't have a shirt. Disgusting.
In the original.
Those are solid questions
It's because they're
that I don't know that we'll
Yeah,
ever
well,
get the answers to.
Because they're animals, as Amanda poignantly.
we're getting a little too advanced,
Yeah.
in society now where we can't have that. I don't know. I love Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's funny, but the cheese stuff is just nasty to me.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was completely nasty. But
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Well-
We were talking about food in this movie the other day, and I was like, I think the pancakes Goofy eats, I think they look delicious. I think the pizza, that's another thing.
Yeah.
the melty pizza.
When the pizza looks delicious, when Goofy walks back into the hotel room, there's pizza all over the hotel room.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
They had
Yeah,
a
teenage
waterbed.
boys.
Those are really difficult. My dad had a waterbed.
No. Did you see it? The pizza was everywhere. It's not like there was a slice of pizza on the waterbed and a slice of pizza on the floor. It was everywhere. And Max is just like, sorry about the mess. I'll clean it up.
He's a teenager. He's throwing it all over the place.
Like, that is a waste of delicious pizza.
Yeah,
And that's the only reason why you're upset about that.
The pizza looks
It's the
gross.
they were watching. To be fair, they were watching Powerline.
That
And
is
maybe
true.
they were trying.
God,
Maybe the pizza
just
was on the bed and
insanely
they jumped
excited.
on it and
Maybe.
it got all over the place.
Maybe.
I don't know. They're
It's-
teenagers.
I
Food
understand
gets
what's-
everywhere.
I understand what's the point of making pizza like it's just water. Like
It's
they
just
put-
melty, gross.
Just a lot of cheese.
It's disgusting. That pizza did not look appealing.
No, I liked it.
None of
No
the
one
food
here
looked
has
Wow.
lactose intolerance.
That is just gross. I'm sorry. Pizza in cartoons never really looks appealing.
No, I was all
Yeah.
for it. I was digging it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. That would never make me want to eat
yeah.
pizza.
This movie definitely does not make me want to eat any cheese.
Have you guys ever experienced a waterbed?
No.
Yes.
My
Yes.
dad had
Yep.
one. I don't know how I feel about it. Like
Wait,
as an
was this-
adult, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I want a waterbed. But
They're-
I'm like, oh no. But there's
they're
actual
fine.
fish in this one too.
I
I'm like,
mean-
that means they got the expensive waterbed that has the specialized water in it to have a fish in there.
Wait,
Oh,
there-
I
This is
didn't
a
have
fancy
that.
ass.
I
Yeah,
just-
that's
Yeah.
How do you
much.
feed the fish?
I
yeah.
don't know.
They just die. You have a dead fish.
I don't know. There
there.
has to be like an opening somewhere.
I'm sorry, that just sounds like such a waste, and it's also gross. And after watching Nightmare on Elm Street, doesn't he have? No, that's not that one, not the first one. There's another one. One of the kids has like a water bed, and I think Freddy like transforms
It's
it where he
kinda
sees like a naked
nice.
mermaid or some naked woman's. I don't understand the point of waterbeds. I don't want to be.
It was
Yeah.
a fad. It was a fad that I don't think they have them anymore.
No, I don't
it's
think
just-
Someone
so.
has one on
And like,
on
what if
eBay.
you
I
pop
bet.
it and then it leaks?
That's
Well,
it.
Oh, yeah, that's the
it.
whole
That-
thing,
that's
It's
it.
done. You
Yeah,
have a
then
water
you
bed.
don't have a
It is
mattress.
kind of difficult to pop. I mean, you're not just going to pop it by like lying on it.
Edward Scissorhands does it pretty easily.
Well,
Well,
'cause
he's got
has
He
scissors
should
for
not.
your
hands.
He should not have a waterbed.
Yeah.
Did you notice the aerial light on the side?
Yes,
But she's like got the dog nose.
I did not notice
Ariel
that.
also was on the stage. There
Yeah,
were
she's got the
props on the
dog.
stage
Oh really?
when Max does his performance, and she's on the side there.
I
Oh,
always
is she?
love
And
how
he also has
Disney
a Mickey Mouse
incorporates
phone.
Yes, he
the
does.
scene.
I like when they do that.
Can we talk about the evil dad?
Pete.
Pete,
Pete
yeah,
has
what a-
always
what a
been evil
douche.
in the
Pete has
Disney universe.
always. Pete is Mickey,
And he's his villain.
Minnie's, Pluto's,
Arch
Goofy,
nemesis.
Duke, Donald's. He is their arch nemesis.
I hated him. He was up there trying to drive a wedge because he is a crappy father and
Yeah.
just cannot admit it to himself.
He's
Agreed.
basically
now,
like a
I
rich
love-
father. He just gives
I-
his son like money, and then that's
See, now,
it. It's like do it.
I love Pete. I love how Pete gets into these situations and it doesn't work out. But that's from a Goof Troop,
Yeah.
It's his
which
bathing suit.
and I love how his wife in a Goof Troop like puts him in his place.
Oh.
So you should watch a Goof Troop.
Can you?
And but in the movie, yeah, I like the way they
Show it
Pete
to
and
me.
Goofy play
Yeah,
off of
show it
each
to us now that you
other.
brought that up.
So I really like Pete.
Will you still like,
one of the cringiest scenes for me in this movie is like Pete's bathing suit.
especially the angle that it's being like shown in?
Oh,
It's
Well,
like-
because Goofy's looking up
Yeah.
and we're looking up.
Pete is like.
He's trying to assert his dominance, though.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I mean, did you see his RV?
yeah,
I
It had
did.
everything. It had satellite TV.
A pretty awesome RV.
yeah.
That was that's one of the scenes I actually
Yeah,
thought
power
was
move.
legitimately funny when the RV like drives right over Goofy and then like plops on him as he's putting his.
That's what
That was one
happens
of the
to
parts I thought was
Goofy.
actually funny. But that
So-
was it.
That's surprising.
Also,
Yeah, that's that was
That-
the part I found funny.
the car.
Yeah.
That car, man.
It
Whatever.
was put through the ringer.
Yeah, whatever make and model that is the car to take off-roading.
Yeah.
Because that thing can withstand anything.
Yeah.
You know what I did
Fortress.
kind of like too? Now I'm kind of finding things I actually do like about the film. When Goofy...
You just didn't like it. Is that it?
Oh, we didn't even talk about general thoughts because I just
Yeah.
assumed everybody loved it.
Well...
That's
Yeah,
where you be
no,
wrong.
She told me that she saw it on, you saw it on Monday night?
Yeah.
Okay, so she told me on Tuesday what she thought about it, and when you came up downstairs on Tuesday to talk to us, I was biting my tongue so I wouldn't tell you what she thought about
way
it.
to rat on me.
Well, let's hear it, Simona.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's like
Let's hear it.
you'd be getting text messages like while I'm watching the movie. If that was the case.
Yeah.
If it's a new movie, I do that sometimes. Like, a friend wants me to watch something, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? What is this? I'm like, why is he going to...
No, it was just... And I think it's also because Goofy has never been a character that I've actually enjoyed. I don't enjoy buffoonery. I can't stand it. Yeah.
Buffoon.
It's like, I don't
Even as a kid,
No. I've never liked Goofy.
you were an old soul, aren't you?
Is that a compliment? Is that a criticism?
I don't think it's either. It's just you have an old soul.
But that just sounds... Okay, I'm feeling so...
It's like
criticized.
Brian's mom. Brian's mom can't stand CGI films, but she can take hand-drawn animation just because CGI looks weird.
And I don't mean... I mean,
I don't know how that's the same, but
It's in a sense she grew up in a time when, like, you know, it was like all the hand-drawns, like black and white films, stuff like that, that she
Yeah.
can't, like,
Because
get
I
into a
didn't,
modern
I didn't
sense
really
of it.
grow up like watching like the Mickey Mouse Club. Like I never watched it. Like
Okay.
I've never seen any of those movies, and you know it's. And I don't mean to offend anyone who likes it. That's not why I'm.
Oh,
I'm offended.
we're not offended.
no, I am.
Well, I'm not,
I am offended.
not offended.
I am offended.
because like I don't want to come across that. I'm not trying to say.
I'm gonna write you a harshly worded letter.
But I think,
Okay,
I think that's why. I mean, I went into it because, okay, like, it's something I haven't seen. I want to watch it. But as I was watching it, I think it's just because that's not the kind of comedy that I appreciate. And these are characters I've never really liked. I didn't even realize Goofy had a son. Like, I really...
Nobody did until this movie, really.
Yeah, like, I...
To be
What?
fair.
What do you mean nobody did? Everybody knew. Everybody.
Oh, as a kid, I did not know.
Well,
You didn't know about Max?
So then you didn't watch a Goof Troop?
I was not big. I was big on Disney movies. I was not big on the TV shows for Disney.
Yeah,
I was
that's-
more of a
Oh,
Nickelodeon
that's-
cartoon
yeah,
network,
because-
Saturday morning WB cartoon.
Thank you. Amanda, she...
That was
Well,
my,
I
doesn't mean I
also-
didn't watch them later on, like
Fair
if they
enough.
were just on.
That was
but-
for me too. Like when I grew up, I was more of a Disney film person, and in terms
Yeah.
of cartoons that I watched on TV, any other kind of Disney, I'm gonna call it the suite. I know that's not what it's called, but any other product from Disney, like whether it was the Mickey Mouse Club, like I just didn't watch. I didn't grow up watching it.
I watched it more when my siblings
yeah.
were born. Like that's when I got more into like, you know, watching it with them.
I mean,
But,
I
yeah.
also grew up with Nick Jr. with Face and
Face.
Blue's Clues and stuff like
yeah,
that.
it's just like
But
Just pitching this idea for the adults out there. Walmart has a special Blue's Clues DVDs for sale. Not sponsoring. Just saying you can have a really good time.
yeah.
You know, playing along. Get yourself a little notebook. Get some crayons. It's great.
But see, I grew up.
You'll never
with,
be as good as Steve, though.
Well, that's what I mean. I grew up with Steve, and Saturday morning cartoons on WB. But I also grew up watching cartoons from Disney, from the Disney Channel when it was actually good, and it was like a Goof Troop and
So
stuff
I
like
think
that.
that's what it is too, because like a lot of the cartoons I did watch, like I loved Gargoyles, and Katie knows this. I
Gargoyles
fangirled
is
so hard
great,
over
yeah.
Gargoyles. Like I used to watch a lot of the anime that was on Toonami, so that's what I used to watch when I came home from school.
Yeah, well, I did as well. Yep.
So I think that's what it is too. I think you probably, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Like I don't know, but there were like good moments. Like I like when Goofy teaches Max his fishing technique, and Max utilizes that to save his dad when they're.
That's the part that gets me every time I watch the movie
Yeah.
is when Goofy grabs onto the fishing pole and you think, okay, everything's good. Then the fishing pole breaks and then Goofy falls and then he does the perfect cast and then reels him in and
It's like it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
I'm in tears.
They did a good job.
Perfect writing, perfect execution of a storyline.
Yeah.
It's just.
It
Disney
does-
Lou wants you to sponsor us, so that's why. Pitch
I
it,
mean,
Lou.
If we got
If we got
Disney to
free
sponsor
merch-
us, we're doing something right.
I wouldn't mind free merch.
Yeah,
I'll wear
you wouldn't mind merch.
free merch. Free
Imagine
Disney-
that, Amanda liking merch.
I'm not wearing merch today.
You have buttons all over you.
That is merch.
Take away my name tag, and what do I have? No merch on. Not today.
Okay.
But you're wearing your name tag, so
We-
you're
we
wearing
gotta-
I am
merch.
wearing my own merch.
Can
Made
we
by
can we
Public
make a
Library
name tag
merch.
for Amanda? I don't wear merch. Like,
You
can
give
we
me-
have
I need
do
to
that?
replace this one. This one's lettering is falling off. So
Yeah.
you know.
But I think that's what it is in terms of maybe I just, since I didn't grow up watching a lot of the shows where like Goofy, Mickey, I think that's what it is. That's probably why for me it just didn't hit in the same way that it probably hits for the rest of you.
Well, I also didn't grow up with a lot of this TV. I didn't have cable when I was a kid, so it was really the Sunday night movie, PBS, and WB cartoons until I was like, my grandparents had cable, my babysitter had cable, so I saw shows, but not regularly.
Yeah.
I watched this movie maybe once as a kid, but it's not like a cherished, I remember it movie. But watching it as an adult, I did enjoy it. I was worried that I was going to be too goofy, because like, I also am not a huge fan of like slapstick kind of stuff, but I thought it was like the right amount. And I think that the emotional heft of the movie really that's what carries the story. And that's really what I took away from it.
It's definitely like a weird contrast, like watching it as a kid. It's like, I didn't like Max as a kid. I thought he was just whiny and annoying.
I was
At the same time, it's like watching it as an adult, you kind of understand more. You just kind of feel bad for Goofy as a kid. Like hearing Max say so many harsh things. And then being a teenager and kind of watching it again, and you're like, I kind of get it, but I still feel bad that he's treating his father this way.
Yep.
Because God forbid if I grew up more with my mom. And God forbid if I talk to her like that. I'm in trouble. But it's interesting watching it as an adult because you start to realize that this is a movie about a single parent who's tried his life. He's flawed. He's not perfect. Goofy has never been the pinnacle of perfection.
No.
He's always been at the low tier, if anything, but he tries. He's compassionate to his son. He gives his son space to do what he needs to do, and hoping that maybe his son will come and want to learn more about the family. Like there's only one instance in which we learn more about Goofy's family is when he tells him how to open the can of beans with the grandfather. He tells him about his grandfather. That's the only instance we know of them having a lineage, like an actual family lineage, other than Goofy just having a son.
Right.
So it's one of those things where he wants to pass things down, tradition or just things in his family, which I think is something parents do want to do, is we want to teach our kids some of the old ways that how they did things, carry on the knowledge.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. And Max is so for the rest of the film, it's just so unreceptive, and it's until the Powerline concert that it all starts to kind of hit more.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do everything on my own. I kind of need help. And then he learns, the perfect cast is the perfect dance move.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I disagree that he's unreceptive throughout the film. I feel like he feels guilty and he struggles with what he wants and what his father wants throughout the entire film.
True.
And that's also why
that's true.
there's some criticism about how he's not punished for what happened. But I would argue that first of all, the guilt that he feels is part of the punishment, but also that him and his father come to a real reconciliation at the end. So it's almost like the punishment isn't necessarily needed. They're kind of it's a new stage in Max's life, and they kind of reorganize their relationship so that going forward they can understand each other a little bit more.
I think also being compared with Pete's dad and his relationship with his father, it's
You
Max
mean
thinks
PJ?
PJ, seeing PJ's, life is way different than Max's. It's more PJ and Pete's relationship is that he's the man of the house and he puts the foot down and he can do what he says and he treats him like a military.
Yeah.
Because I think he even salutes him in the house. And so it's one of those things where he's got a more authority in his, and so when Goofy tries to throw authority out there, it doesn't work because
It's not his parenting style.
It's not. And everybody has, and I think it's a great representation of showing that everybody has different parenting styles. No parent is perfect.
Right.
You know, Lewis is right. That is a movie about, like, communication and learning to talk to each other when you need each other the most. Like, what's going on? Just because he's goofy and not perfect doesn't mean that he hasn't had life experience. He had you. So clearly he has life experience.
Yeah. I mean, when I watched this movie as a kid, I kind of like forgot about it and didn't get back to watching it until I was like in college, and I was like, oh my god, I love this movie. I like remembered how much I really liked it, and then watching it last night again as more of an adult, I like found that this movie really resonates with me in some way because I grew up in a single parent household.
Same.
Right. So I mean, and we all kind of like grew up, I think, in some aspect of like a single parent household. So we kind of can understand where Max is coming from, but we can also kind of understand where Goofy is coming from too. It's that whole single parent dynamic. And
He's trying to figure things out. Yeah. It's like he's a first-time parent, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Unless there's some mystery.
Got a little goofs running around.
Goofs. We don't know. Like, also, the news about his wife, we don't know. And Disney doesn't know. Oh. They just excluded her. They just eventually just cut her out of everything. Like,
interesting.
There's a scene with her where she's more of a human, but you barely see anything of her and a young Max. But he's human too, which is really odd. But whatever. They just kind of cut her out entirely. And I think that's what makes the sequel really good too.
Yeah.
Is that it's more of a continuation to show that adults can still, you know,
I don't
go
remember
out
the
there and
sequel
try
enough other than that line and the
so good.
a lot of X Games stuff.
The disco scene is what inspired a design that I won in high school.
Oh, really?
Is the disco floor tiles.
I
was like, I want
what
that.
I think the second movie does really well is showing like how parents, or at least a single parent, can form new attachments and like
They can move on.
Right.
Be happy for themselves. It's like after the kid goes to college, it's like, you know, parents, I know that I have like my 4 siblings, and my sister went to college. She went for her master's, and she's all the way in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, good for her. Congrats, all that stuff. But, you know, I know my stepmother was, like, really depressed about it. She was, like, her best friend for, like, years. And, you know, I'm not there. Now my little brother's the only one in the house with them. So it's one of those things, like, when he graduates and when my other 2 siblings graduate as well, it's like, what do you do after that? Like, you know, your life had been kind of like your kids. And now they're grown up and doing what you would have done and going off and leaving the nest. Yeah. And, you know, some people find, you know, going back to school is great. Like doing the things you couldn't do when, you know, you had a kid in the house. I think it's really brave. I think it's also good because, like, I started school late. So, you know, I won't get out of school for another, like, 2-3 years. And as much as that makes me feel old, seeing all the new kids in classes and stuff like that, it's like he's technically like kind of in his 50s or 60s at that point. And he's going back to school to get his degree. Yeah. And, you know, he learns to move on from whatever happened to his wife, non-wife, we don't know, mystery wife. Yeah. Whether she existed in this universe, we don't know. And that even at an old age, he can find, like, new love. He can find, you know, happiness in being an individual again. Where he gave so much for somebody else, he can now give that time to himself. And I think that's, like, really brave for Disney to kind of go and do that, especially in an animated film. Yeah. Is to focus on a parent's life like that. I think that's great. Yeah. As an adult, it's great looking. Plus, the X Games are awesome. I follow that still.
I think the X Games are just a thing. Movie.
No, they happen every year.
No,
I love them. I watch them. Motocross, skateboarding, favorite.
skateboarding?
I love the skateboarding. I love motocross also.
What's
I think
motocross?
Motocross is like
It's
you
dirt
get like a
bikes.
track and different
race.
hills, and you can do
Race.
like flips and tricks and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
There was a Disney Channel original movie about.
Yeah.
They were
motocross.
trying to really hone in on the X Games.
I mean, that, granted, in like, what was it, the early 2000s, that was when X Games really kind of exploded.
That's
At
where I
least,
met
like-
Shaun White.
Did you really meet him?
I didn't mean. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I still wish I
But
could.
I mean, that was when
Shaun
Tony
White.
Hawk
He's
came
retired
on the
now, right?
scene. That's
No,
when.
I have the newspaper.
That's when, you
for
know,
his
all
retirement.
these major skateboarders came on the scene, and that's when X Games really kicked
It was
off.
awesome because you have the Winter X Games. Then you have the X Games.
There are two of them.
There are.
Well, you know, there has to be.
Snowboarding's so cool too. I wish I could do it. I can't. But I'm an adult and I have a life and I could learn right now.
Cat.
Go snowboard.
I just hate the snow.
Start with skiing, and then get on the snowboard.
No, it's harder to switch.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's too different.
Don't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I want to be a cool skater person.
Although snowboarding's supposed to be easier.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought it would be harder.
Well, as long as you're not trying to do tricks. Like if you're just snowboarding.
I'm just going. "Ooh."
Yeah, then it's easy because people have trouble with the two separate planks,
Oh.
whereas snowboarding you're kind of
That makes sense
Yeah.
because when
Pizza
I
and
went
French fry,
skiing
pizza,
with
French
my
fry.
with my dad, I had a really
Gonna
hard
have a bad
time.
time.
With it. And then I ended up hurting myself. So
Yeah.
never
Don't do
again.
my family told me I'm not allowed to.
Oh no.
My boyfriend's been trying to get
I've
me to go
already broke my
skiing.
back once. They don't want to risk it.
No.
Yeah. No.
I've never been skiing. My boyfriend's been trying to get me to go skiing for the past couple of years. Just hasn't worked out.
Yeah. No. I could see where snowboarding's a lot easier.
Looks cooler.
I'd rather go cross country skiing.
I'm just afraid I'll break my glasses constantly. That's my biggest fear.
I usually just hang out in the whatever lounge
lodge?
is in the ski resort. Yeah.
Free hot cocoa.
The lodge?
Hell yeah.
Adult,
Maybe not hot cocoa, but
adult hot cocoa.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put some Baileys in there.
I do love Bailey's.
I do too.
So a goofy movie.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Powerline is the highlight of this film, if
Yeah.
anything.
Great
Yeah.
soundtrack. Great concert at the end. It's just when they all come together and start dancing.
I was trying to figure out who
I like the
plays
fact-
Powerline.
Tevin Campbell.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I love the fact though too that when Max comes clean to Roxanne, she still wants to go out with him.
Is Roxanne also a dog?
They're all dogs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except for
okay.
Pete. Pete's a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Pete
Really?
and PJ are cats. Yes. Pete's a
Oh.
cat. Hence why Mickey and Minnie don't like Pete, is because he's a cat.
Really?
Yes,
That
Pete is a
makes
cat.
sense.
Interesting. I'd never ever put that together.
Yeah, they're cats. They're the only cats in the universe of the Goofy movie, as far as I am aware. Because you don't see them in the colleges, you don't see them anywhere. It's all
Yeah,
just a
it's
dog's
true.
world.
Interesting.
Maybe there's another country for cats. I don't know.
Maybe.
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 It's like DuckTales. At least they incorporated the dogs.
Yeah.
So final
Right.
thoughts. I loved it. Every
Yeah.
minute of it, except for the
I-
possum place. I could do without that. We could skip that.
Yeah. I of course loved the movie.
I enjoyed it. I definitely see why so many people are obsessed with it.
It's really good. Someone was like, no, it wasn't. I'll never talk about it again.
I think you're allowed not to like it.
That's fair.
I'll give you permission.
Thank
to
you.
not.
Thank you. Because I was feeling really judged. Like, I'm just going to put that out there.
Look, there have been a couple movie suggestions here I haven't liked.
Oh, well, we know because you've
Don't
told
remember.
us when you don't like them.
Yeah, like Bubble.
Like when we
God.
spit it out of our mouth, you're like,
horrible.
I could have gone harsher with Bubble.
Oh my gosh.
I can tear things, so I'm good.
if I had to rewatch Bubble and rewatch this, I'd rewatch Bubble.
Oh
No.
Yeah.
The gauntlet's been thrown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying. In fact, here's this. If I had to rewatch Hercules and rewatch this, I'd choose Hercules.
You
Do
don't
you
like
not like
Hercules?
Hercules?
I meant,
I will go almost anywhere to fit.
Well, it's okay. It's okay if you don't, but I'm just surprised.
I mean, to be fair, like, if you really take a look back at Hercules, it's like, it's not a masterpiece of cinema, but it's a fun movie.
It's fun.
No, like I love when he sings his power ballad as he's going out to like find his. I sing along with it, but it's more like one of those films where I can watch it once, and if a lifetime passes and I've never seen it again, I'll be perfectly fine. Like there are a lot of films that in my childhood I really enjoyed, but when I rewatch, it's like not really. Like I used to really enjoy Aladdin. Rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, no.
Well, that makes sense. They're made for. I mean, there are lots of children's programming that like still appeal to adults, but it's okay that you don't enjoy the movies you enjoyed as a child.
Well, no, because there are other Disney films that like I loved as a child that I could rewatch constantly.
Those ones are better.
Yes.
When I was little, I didn't like Beauty and the Beast as a child because despite all the like Jurassic Park movies I watched,
The Beast scared you?
The Beast scared me as a child. The Beast was my mom's favorite one. And it scared the crap out of me as a child, but I was over here watching T-Rexes go, eating people, and I'm over here like, the Beast roars, and I'm like, he's mean. I was like, I don't like him. It was much later, like, I think when I was like 8 or 9, that I actually was like, oh, this isn't that bad.
Gaston scared me in Beauty and the Beast, and so did the wolves.
I loved the Beast. I found his voice so sexy.
You want to talk about sexy voices?
Oh, come on, people! You don't think that was a sexy voice? Whatever. You're just.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny it.
Thank you.
I wouldn't deny it either.
Oh, okay, fine. Now it's slowly. Lou, come on, embrace it.
I'm not about to expose myself.
If you
my interests.
I think you've already done that.
No.
Yeah, you've kind of already done that.
No.
Oh yeah. Cat's out of the bag.
Oh,
No, but Lou, if you were Belle, and
if you were Belle,
and you
You're
saw
beautiful.
the Beast,
You're
and he
beautiful,
showed
well-read.
you all those books,
Everyone
that
bullies
library, you would not think that's a sexy beast.
If a man got me a library, I need one right now.
I am gonna say that when the Beast transforms into his prince form and he turns around and you get that
I liked him as a beast
bam
better.
shot. I call it a bam shot. I don't. But my mom saw that and she was she had a crush on. The human
because he
prince.
is one of the most
"What?"
handsome princes. But then after that wonder shot where he turns, you're like, oh my god. And then like the illustration kind of gets progressively bad. Like they've talked about it. How he becomes like the drawing for the prince doesn't look as good as when he first turns around.
Yeah,
He
I
kind
don't
of
see
scares me a
that.
little bit. He turns around and looks at her like that, and he's like, "Belle, it's me." I'm like, "Calm down, get away from me."
That
It's like he has like the look of when the Beast first looks at her, and he's like looking down on her, and they have like that shadow thing.
Yeah.
But when he's a human, they do that, and I'm like,
But that's how she knows who he is. It's in his eyes.
clearly he looks down on her. It's just like, "Belle, it's me." I'm just like,
He's taller than she is. He's going to be looking down at her.
Yeah,
so
Amanda.
tall. But the way they do it, they didn't make him look so horrifying.
Okay,
I don't think he's horrifying.
Okay, so that is horrifying, but Jurassic Park and the T-Rex going to town eating people, that's okay. Okay.
It's even stranger because there are real people in Jurassic Park. And
Yeah, I know, right?
Animated, so.
I was so into it. Like, all these kids were screaming, and I'm over here like, yeah, dinosaurs. But the Beast was like the one thing I couldn't handle as a kid.
I
He was mean. He was
loved
yelling.
Beauty and the Beast as a kid, but when we went to Disney, I was like 4. I could not approach any of the costumed characters. I don't really like anyone in a costume.
I don't
probably
blame
ever.
you.
But especially Beast, and it was heartbreaking because Belle was with Beast, and I could not go say hi to Belle because Beast was right next to her. Meanwhile, my sister ran up to Beast
very
and just
spooky.
hugged him. So
This is why I'm
very
glad that
opposite.
my mom waited to take me to Disney World when I was 14.
also, like, I don't
I grew up
remember this
near there,
heartbreak.
so
I
I
just
went a couple
assumed
times.
that it
Yeah.
was there. But
My stepfather
Yeah.
worked there too.
See, I would have never approached them because, like, I have a thing. Like, I think one of the reasons why I hate clowns is because when I was in elementary school, there was a clown, and he just started running towards all the children, and I, like,
That was a
legit
bad
hid
move.
between a seat.
That was a bad move.
I went to
Nope.
one basketball game in college, and the mascot decided to sit on my lap.
Oh. No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like,
no.
dude, you're heavy. Get off.
No question. Just walked up and sat on my lap.
I would have like moved
Yep.
my legs
Nope.
like a slide.
I
And
think. I know. I would have pushed him off.
I
of me.
probably did.
Yeah.
I
spit on
probably
it.
did.
Yeah.
But Lou, the same thing happened to you, right? The mascot just came up to you and sat on your lap?
No.
No? Okay.
No, Liz, but you didn't
I
answer
guess
the
so.
question because we got so crazy. Like, if you were in Belle's shoes and someone presented you with a library of like your favorite things, it's like, how would you feel?
Minus the
I was-
kidnapping situation, like if you weren't
yeah.
abducted by him, like you went willingly, how would you feel?
I'd feel great. If somebody gave me
Yeah.
everything I ever wanted, yeah. it'd be
Well,
great.
wait a minute.
I pushed back against
But I
that.
like the hunt.
He
of
didn't
finding the
abduct
things
her.
in-
Yeah, she treated herself for her father.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, if
She
you want to get all
willingly did
technical,
it.
I'm getting
And he gave
technical.
her a nice room instead of a cell.
Exactly.
At least he was courteous
Well,
to a certain.
he's
I'm
he's
trying-
still her jailer.
I'm not trying to make him look better, but Belle had more control over the situation. She
That's
wasn't
what
a
I'm saying.
helpless damsel. She
oh
was somebody.
my god, it was complete Stockholm syndrome. You people are just in denial.
It
Look,
was
he
not.
gives me a giant library full of manga.
She could
So
leave.
cute.
She left.
She left.
She came back.
He let her go.
Ladies, I agree with you. I'm just trying to piss you off, which
Why?
I'm doing
Why
a
do
great
you like doing that, Simona? Why?
Because it's fun. And Joe's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Causing chaos. Yes.
Well, I could cause chaos as well.
Chaos.
Well, you do when we talk about Braveheart. That's for Ben.
Which is historically accurate.
Not
It
entirely
is!
accurate.
I meant the accent, the paint on the side of his face, the kilt wearing,
God,
kilt.
guys, I'll leave. I'll just walk out. Not.
This is your movie.
him having sex with the princess.
Didn't happen.
According to Mel Gibson, it did.
Mel
Simpsons
Gibson's
did.
wrong.
Mel Gibson
Gibson's
is
wrong about
not
a lot of things.
a historian.
Exactly.
He is not. He's a very scary man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scares me. He
not
scares
somebody
me
you wanna
away
run
so
into
much.
at a
I
bar.
don't want to
Did,
watch any
did you
of his
see him
movies.
during the
Yes.
press conference when he was promoting Apocalypto?
No.
Oh.
Is he scary in that? Probably.
Well, because like a lot of the reporters were objecting to his depiction of the I'm sorry, this supposed to be Aztecs, Mayans. I'm sorry. Which
I think
I've
mine
never saw
is-
the movie, so I don't know.
well, they were because
Native Southern American.
yeah, because they were objecting to the depiction of them, and then also the end of the movie is before the main character is just about to get his heart ripped out. The Spanish ships come in,
I see this movie.
so they were basically saying that like they were objecting to the depiction of like colonizers coming in and saving, and then they were saying how
Gibson.
Yeah.
that they never sacrificed people, that he was taking it out of context, and then I love it. He says, "Have you read your history? Because I have." And I was like, whoa. So, but anyway.
I'm sure he's read a form
But,
of a
but
history.
honestly, I was told the same thing. I attended a powwow,
publicist?
and there was an indigenous gentleman from Mexico, and he was saying that they actually misinterpreted the depictions on the pyramids, that they didn't practice human sacrifice.
You attended a what?
A powwow.
Oh,
I've always wanted to go.
I've never been to a powwow.
Yeah, I've been
What
to...
happens at a powwow?
It's essentially...
Does it stand for something?
I am not sure, but it's essentially a gathering of various Native American tribes. It's to sort of celebrate their culture. Some people would argue it's basically, natives dancing for white people for entertainment, but whatever.
We're not gonna go there.
I'm not going into that. There's like cultural significance. They perform dances. It is very
It's
beautiful.
open. People can come and
Yeah.
experience it. I know my
So-
grandmother in Florida used to do them a lot. Used to go to them
Yeah.
a lot because she supported those communities.
Yeah.
Um,
You can also purchase.
they have like
things-
vendors there,
Yeah.
and they sell like their handmade goods and stuff like that.
It's,
so-
I've gone twice. It
They're
was a good
really big
experience.
in New Mexico.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Like I've gone there twice, and it's very emotional. Like for one of the powwows, one of the gentlemen actually acknowledged war veterans, so he had them come out and it be acknowledged. So it was nice. But yeah, but we're sorry, Joe. You're gonna have so much to edit, but that's why you love us.
this is great.
This is gonna be your welcome back present.
He's gonna love it so much.
He is. I know he is. It's
So
inside.
Goofy movie. I think all encompassing a majority of the thoughts here is a movie that I had it all in my head. Is a movie that stands the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
It can be watched, like, it still holds up. It continues to hold up.
It's a generational movie for
It
sure.
is a generational movie. It's great for, it does a lot of things for, like, adults watching it as well as kids watching it. It's definitely a great movie to watch as, like, you grow up, because you get different views of it as you start, going through things that are very similar to what Max is going through, and to an adult, to maybe you have similar situations where Goofy, you identify more with Goofy. I think anybody can watch this. It holds up. It's on Disney Plus. We're not sponsored, but it's accessible. We also have it here at our library. You can always check it out. Have it ordered right now since our library is closed temporarily. So, yeah. Check out Powerline. If anything else, just
Lou, take us out with the Powerline song.
No.